Do you know what happens when you burn a specific leaf at exactly 3 a.m.? Most people have no idea, but ancient Jewish mystics discovered something extraordinary about this precise moment and this particular practice that has been passed down through generations of rabbis for over 2,000 years. I'm going to share with you today a wealth ritual so powerful that when my grandfather first taught it to me in Jerusalem, he made me promise to guard this knowledge carefully. He said this wasn't something to be taken lightly, because when performed correctly, it activates forces that most people don't even know exist. My name is Rabbi Solomon, and for the past 40 years, I have studied the ancient texts of Kabbalah and the hidden teachings of Jewish mysticism. My family has preserved these secrets for 7 generations, and today I'm breaking my silence, because the world needs this wisdom now more than ever. What I'm about to reveal works every single time when you follow the exact steps I'm going to teach you. Not sometimes, every time. But here's what's critical. The method I'll share with you in the middle of this video is so specific that if you miss even one detail, you'll wonder why nothing happened. So watch until the very end, because every element matters. Now, before we go any further, let me explain why this particular ritual has remained hidden for so long, and why I've decided to share it publicly for the first time. I learned this from my grandfather when I was just 19 years old. He called me into his study one evening, right after Shabbat had ended. The room smelled of old books and burning candles, and I remember the way his eyes looked at me with such intensity. He said to me that night that there are secrets in our tradition that can change a person's entire destiny, but they only work for those who are truly ready to receive them. He asked me if I was ready, and of course I said yes, without fully understanding what I was agreeing to. Then he showed me ancient manuscripts that had been copied by hand through centuries of Jewish scholars, passages that revealed the mystical connection between specific times of night, certain plants, fire, and the flow of abundance in our world. He explained that this wasn't superstition or magic. This was practical wisdom encoded by our ancestors who understood laws of the universe that modern science is only beginning to discover. He made me promise 2 things that night. First, that I would never use this knowledge with impure intentions. And second, that when the time was right, I would pass it on to others who genuinely needed it. For decades I kept this promise, teaching only within small circles of serious students. But something has changed in the world. Look around you right now. Economic uncertainty is everywhere. Just this week, we're seeing inflation continuing to squeeze families around the globe. Markets are unstable. People who worked their entire lives are watching their savings disappear. Good, hard-working people are struggling like never before, while a small percentage seems to prosper, no matter what happens. This isn't coincidence. There are spiritual laws at work that most people don't understand, and those who know these laws, those who know how to work with them, rather than against them, they're the ones who thrive in any circumstance. The first time I personally witnessed this ritual work, I was 23 years old and facing complete financial ruin. I had invested everything I had into a small business that failed spectacularly. I owed money to people I cared about. I couldn't sleep at night. I felt like a complete failure and wondered if I had made a terrible mistake leaving the traditional path my family expected of me. Then I remembered what my grandfather taught me. I had nothing to lose at that point, so I gathered the materials, waited for 3 a.m., and performed the ritual exactly as he had shown me. Within 48 hours, I received an unexpected call from someone I hadn't spoken to in years, offering me an opportunity that seemed to come from nowhere. Within a week, 2 more opportunities appeared. Within a month, my entire financial situation had transformed. Debts that seemed impossible to pay were resolved. New income streams opened. People who could help me suddenly appeared in my life. That's when I knew without any doubt that this wasn't just ancient philosophy. This was real tangible power that actually worked when properly applied. Now you might be wondering, why does this work? What's the mechanism behind burning a leaf at 3 a.m. that could possibly affect your financial reality? The Talmud and Kabbalistic texts teach that there are universal laws, spiritual laws, that govern how abundance flows in our world. These laws existed before money was invented, before governments, before modern religion. They are woven into the fabric of creation itself. The ancient rabbis discovered these laws through thousands of years of study, observation, and practice. They noticed patterns. They documented what worked and what didn't. They encoded this knowledge into specific rituals, prayers, and practices that anyone could use regardless of their background. One of the most important discoveries they made was about time. Not all hours are equal. The period around 3 a.m., known in Hebrew as the Ashmoret Haboka, has unique spiritual properties. This is when the veil between the physical world and the spiritual realm is thinnest. This is when prayers are heard most clearly. This is when actions taken have the greatest impact on your destiny. When you combine this sacred time with the right elements, the right intentions, and the right actions, you create a spiritual vortex that literally draws abundance toward you. You're not begging the universe for help. You're aligning yourself with laws that must respond when properly activated. The specific leaf used in this ritual has properties that our ancestors recognized thousands of years ago. Modern science is actually confirming what they knew intuitively. Certain plants contain compounds that affect consciousness, that purify energy, that create specific frequencies when burned. Our ancestors didn't have laboratories, but they had careful observation passed down through generations. Here's what I know from my 40 years of studying this. I've personally witnessed this ritual transform the lives of thousands of people. I've seen single mothers go from not knowing how they would pay rent to receiving unexpected inheritances. I've seen entrepreneurs on the verge of bankruptcy suddenly find investors who believed in them. I've seen people stuck in dead-end jobs receive offers they never applied for. The pattern is always the same. They perform the ritual correctly, and within days things begin to shift. Not because of magic, but because they've aligned themselves with universal laws that were always there waiting to be activated. Now I want to ask you something important. What would change in your life if money was no longer a constant worry? What would you do differently if you knew abundance was flowing towards you? What dreams have you put aside because you didn't have the resources to pursue them? Keep those answers in your mind as we continue, because the ritual I'm about to teach you has the power to make those dreams possible. If you're ready to activate this ancient wisdom in your own life, I want you to write in the comments right now the words, "My wealth is activated." Don't just think it, write it. Make it a declaration. I read every comment personally, and I want to see hundreds of declarations of faith here. Do it now before we continue. I know exactly what you're going through right now. I've sat across from thousands of people just like you, and I've heard the same story again and again. You wake up every morning with a weight on your chest before your feet even touch the floor. You're already calculating bills, debts, obligations. You work hard, probably harder than most people around you. You do everything right. You follow the rules. You sacrifice and save and struggle. But no matter what you do, the finish line keeps moving further away. Every month it's the same cycle. Money comes in, money goes out, and somehow there's never enough left over to build anything meaningful. You watch others who seem to work less than you living lives of abundance while you're stuck in survival mode. And the worst part? Everyone around you has advice. Just work harder, they say, as if you aren't already exhausted. Just save more, they suggest, as if there's anything left to save. Just think positive, they recommend, as if thoughts alone could pay your bills. But none of it works, does it? Because they're all missing the fundamental truth about how abundance actually operates. Here's what nobody wants to tell you. The financial system you're operating within was never designed for you to win. It was designed to keep you working, keep you struggling, keep you dependent on forces outside your control. The rules they taught you in school, work hard, get a good job, save for retirement, these rules were written by people who benefit from your compliance. I see this constantly. People come to me after they've tried everything conventional. They've worked overtime until their health suffered. They've invested in schemes that promised quick returns. They've read every self-help book about positive thinking and visualization. They've tried budgeting apps and side hustles and everything the financial gurus recommend, and nothing fundamentally changes because all of these approaches focus only on the physical level. How much you earn, how much you save, how much you invest. They completely ignore the spiritual dimension of abundance. The Talmud teaches that livelihood is as difficult as splitting the Red Sea. This doesn't mean earning money is impossible. It means that true financial transformation requires the same divine intervention that parted waters. And that intervention comes through proper alignment with spiritual law, not through working yourself to death within a broken system. You've been told that wealthy people work harder than everyone else. That's a lie. You've been told that poverty is just bad luck or bad choices. That's a lie. You've been told that some people are destined to struggle while others prosper. That's the biggest lie of all. I've studied the ancient texts for 40 years. I've observed what works and what doesn't across thousands of cases. And I can tell you with absolute certainty that abundance is your birthright. It's not reserved for a select few. It's available to anyone who knows how to activate the channels through which it flows. The Jewish people understood this thousands of years ago. That's why we've been able to rebuild prosperity after every persecution, every exile, every attempt to destroy us. It's not genetics. It's not luck. It's knowledge of spiritual laws that most of the world has forgotten. Here's the universal truth that changes everything. Kabbalah teaches that abundance already exists in infinite supply in the spiritual realm. The problem is never that there isn't enough. The problem is that blockages prevent it from flowing into your physical reality. These blockages are spiritual in nature, which is why physical solutions alone never work. When I first learned this from my grandfather, everything suddenly made sense. I realized that all my struggling and striving had been like trying to fill a bucket that had holes in the bottom. No matter how much water I poured in, it kept draining out because I hadn't addressed the fundamental problem. The ancient rabbis knew that certain actions, performed at certain times, with certain intentions, have the power to remove these blockages. They codified this into specific rituals that work with universal law rather than against it. When you align yourself with these spiritual principles, you're no longer fighting the current. You're flowing with it. And that's when what others call miracles start to happen. Now I'm going to reveal the exact method that has been passed down through my family for 7 generations. This comes directly from Kabbalistic teachings that trace back over 2,000 years. It's been refined by every generation of rabbis who tested it, observed the results, and perfected the practice. But before I show you the steps, you need to understand something absolutely critical. This is not a game. This is not something you do casually or half-heartedly while scrolling on your phone. When you activate these ancient laws, real forces begin to move. Real energy begins to shift. Real changes begin to manifest in your physical reality. The power works in both directions. Used properly with pure intention, it brings tremendous blessing. Used carelessly or with corrupt intention, it can create consequences you don't want. I'm telling you this not to scare you, but because I take my responsibility seriously. I'm passing this knowledge to you, and I need you to take it seriously as well. Here's what makes this method completely different from anything else you've tried. First, it works at the spiritual level, not just the physical level. It addresses the root cause of financial blockages rather than just treating symptoms. Second, it uses specific elements that have been proven effective for thousands of years. Nothing in this ritual is arbitrary. Every component activates specific spiritual forces. Third, it requires your active participation. You're not just wishing or hoping or visualizing. You're actually doing something concrete that creates real change. Fourth, results come fast. Usually within 24 to 48 hours, you'll see the first signs. Within 7 days, tangible results. Within 30 days, a complete transformation. And fifth, you don't need to be Jewish. You don't need special training. You don't need to speak Hebrew. You just need to follow the instructions exactly as I give them with sincere intention. The Talmud teaches that the gates of tears are never closed, meaning sincere intention is always received. When you perform this ritual with genuine need and pure heart, the universe must respond. It's not a request, it's activation of law. Before you begin, you need to prepare yourself mentally and spiritually. This isn't about being perfect, but it is about being clear and focused. Here's what I tell everyone who's ready to perform this ritual. First, choose a time when you will not be interrupted. You need to be awake at 3 a.m., which I know requires planning. Set an alarm. Make sure you can have complete privacy for at least 30 minutes. Early morning is best, because the veil is thinnest, and your own mind is most receptive after sleep. Second, make sure you're in a calm state. If you're angry, anxious, or distracted, wait for another night. The energy you bring to this matters enormously. Spend a few minutes in quiet breathing before you begin if necessary. Third, set your intention clearly before you start. Know exactly what you're asking for. Vague intentions create vague results. If you need money to pay specific debts, be specific. If you need opportunities in your career, be specific. Clarity amplifies power. Fourth, trust the process completely. Even if some steps seem strange or unfamiliar, follow them exactly. Remember, this has worked for thousands of years for countless people. Your job isn't to understand every detail intellectually. Your job is to perform the ritual correctly and allow the forces to work. Are you ready? Good. Here's what you need. The first element is a bay leaf. You need 1 or more dried bay leaves, which you can find in almost any grocery store or spice section. Bay leaf has been sacred in Jewish tradition for centuries. In Kabbalah, we teach that bay leaf represents victory and prosperity. It was used in ancient times to crown victors and to invite success. But here's what most people don't understand. Bay leaf isn't just symbolic. It has actual energetic properties. When burned, bay leaf releases compounds that shift the atmosphere and create a receptive field for intention. The smoke carries your desires from the physical realm into the spiritual realm where they can manifest. Modern science has actually confirmed that burning bay leaves releases linalool, a compound that reduces anxiety and creates calm focus. Our ancestors didn't have laboratory equipment, but through careful observation, they knew this plant had special properties. I've seen bay leaf rituals work countless miracles. I've seen people write their intentions on leaves, burn them at 3 a.m., and receive exactly what they asked for within days. This is why it's essential to this method. You need dried bay leaves, not fresh ones. Fresh leaves don't burn properly. Make sure they're whole and undamaged. You'll need at least 3, but you can use more if your intentions are multiple. The second element is a pen that can write on the leaves. A marker works best, something that will leave a clear mark on the dry surface of the leaf. The color is traditionally gold or red for wealth rituals, but black will work if that's what you have. The pen represents your will made manifest. When you write on the leaf, you're not just making marks, you're encoding your intention into matter. You're taking something from your mind and giving it physical form. This is the first step of manifestation, moving from thought to physical reality. The third element is fire. You need a safe way to burn the leaves. A candle is ideal, specifically a white or gold candle for abundance work. You can also use matches or a lighter, but a candle is best because the flame represents continuous divine presence. Fire in Kabbalah represents transformation. It takes matter and converts it to energy and smoke that rises upward. When you burn your intention, you're releasing it from physical limitation into spiritual possibility. The fire consumes what's temporary and reveals what's eternal. Make sure you have a fireproof container to catch the ashes. A ceramic bowl or metal dish works well. The ashes themselves are sacred and will be used in a later step. The fourth element is pure water. You need a small glass of clean water, preferably spring water or filtered water, rather than tap water with chemicals. Water represents flow and purification. In Jewish mysticism, water is connected to chesed, divine loving kindness that causes abundance to flow. Having water present during the ritual creates balance with the fire element and prepares the channel through which blessings will flow. The fifth element is salt. You need a small amount of sea salt or kosher salt. Salt represents preservation and protection in Jewish tradition. It seals covenants. It purifies. It protects your intentions from negative interference. A pinch of salt placed near your ritual space creates a boundary that keeps your work pure. These 5 elements together create a complete ritual space. Leaf for victory, pen for will, fire for transformation, water for flow, salt for protection. Each element serves a specific purpose, and together they amplify each other exponentially. Now I will walk you through the exact procedure step by step. Follow these instructions precisely. Do not modify, skip, or add anything. This sequence has been refined over thousands of years for maximum effectiveness. Step 1. Prepare your space. At 2:45 a.m., wake and go to a quiet place where you will not be disturbed. This can be a bedroom, living room, bathroom, anywhere private. Arrange your elements in front of you. Light your candle. Place the water to your right, the salt to your left. Sit comfortably facing east if possible, which is the direction of Jerusalem and the direction from which blessing flows. As you prepare your space, breathe deeply 3 times. Clear your mind of the day's worries. Feel your body becoming calm and focused. Know that you are about to engage with forces that have helped our people prosper for thousands of years. Feel the weight of that tradition supporting you. Step 2. Write your intentions. Take your bay leaves and your pen. On each leaf, write one specific intention related to wealth and abundance. Be specific. Don't write, "I want money." Write the exact amount you need, what you need it for, by when you need it. Or write the specific opportunity you're seeking, the job, the business, the investment. Specificity is power. As you write, visualize your intention already fulfilled. See yourself holding the money, receiving the opportunity, paying off the debt. Feel the emotions you would feel if this were already real. Gratitude, relief, joy. These emotions are the fuel that powers the ritual. Write on as many leaves as you have specific intentions, but limit yourself to no more than 7 for any single ritual. More than 7 dilutes the focus. Step 3. Speak your declaration. Hold the leaves in your right hand over your heart. Your right hand represents the column of chesed, loving kindness and abundance. Your heart is the center of your being, where intention becomes real. Say these words aloud. You can read them, but speak them with conviction. Ribono shel olam, Master of the universe, I come before you at this sacred hour to align myself with your infinite abundance. I release all blocks that have prevented prosperity from flowing to me. I open myself to receive the blessings you have already prepared for me. May these intentions rise like incense before you and return to me as reality. Feel the words resonating in your chest as you speak them. This is not empty recitation. This is direct communication with the source of all abundance. Step 4. Burn the leaves. Now, at exactly 3 a.m., begin burning the leaves one at a time in your candle flame. Hold each leaf carefully at one corner and touch another corner to the flame. Let it catch fire and place it in your fireproof container to burn completely. As each leaf burns, visualize the fire transforming your intention from physical to spiritual. See the smoke carrying your desires upward through the veil that separates realms. Know that what is being released cannot return unchanged. The fire has sealed your covenant with abundance. If a leaf doesn't burn completely, don't panic. Simply relight it, or let what remains turn to ash on its own. The intention has been transmitted. Step 5. Drink the water. After all leaves have burned and the flames have died down, take your glass of water. Hold it in both hands and say, "As water flows endlessly, so let abundance flow to me. As I receive this water, I receive all blessings meant for me." Drink the entire glass. This internalizes the ritual. You're not just asking for something outside yourself. You're becoming a vessel that receives continuously. Step 6. Seal with salt. Take a pinch of salt and sprinkle it over the ashes while saying, "This covenant is sealed. What has been declared will manifest. No force can block what is divinely ordained." The salt preserves your ritual work against any interference. It draws a boundary around your intention that negative energy cannot cross. Step 7. Dispose of the ashes. The next day, take the ashes and release them to the wind outside your home. This completes the cycle, returning the physical elements to nature while your intention continues its work in the spiritual realm. If there's no wind, you can bury them in earth or place them in running water. The key is releasing them from your space so the energy can move freely. Step 8. Wait and observe. For the next 7 days, pay close attention to everything that happens around you. Notice coincidences. Notice unexpected messages. Notice people who suddenly contact you. Notice opportunities that seem to appear from nowhere. Do not obsess over when results will come. Do not check constantly if it's working. Trust that you have activated forces that are now in motion. Your job now is to remain open and to act when opportunities present themselves. After you complete all the steps, here's what typically happens. Within the first 24 hours, you might feel a sense of lightness, like something has shifted. Some people experience vivid dreams about money or opportunities. Others notice their anxiety about finances suddenly decreasing. These are signs that the energy is activating. Within 3 to 7 days, tangible results should start appearing. This could be unexpected money arriving, a payment you forgot about, a gift, a refund, a won prize. It could be an opportunity presenting itself, a job offer, a business idea, a connection to someone helpful. It could be a debt being resolved or a solution appearing for a financial problem you thought was unsolvable. Pay attention to what might seem like small things. The universe often works through doors that appear ordinary at first. A casual conversation leads to a massive opportunity. A random email contains exactly what you needed. Within 30 days, the full transformation should be evident. The specific intentions you wrote on the leaves should be manifesting or clearly on their way to manifestation. You'll look back at your situation before the ritual and recognize how dramatically things have shifted. The key is to trust the process and not obsess over it. Do the ritual correctly, then let it go. The universe will handle the rest. Trying to control the outcome or constantly worrying about it actually creates resistance that slows the manifestation. Now, before you perform this ritual, I need to give you some critical warnings. These are not optional. These are essential for your protection and for the proper functioning of what you're doing. Warning number 1. Never use this ritual to harm others. If you attempt to use this power to bring misfortune to someone else, to steal what belongs to another, or to succeed at someone else's expense, it will backfire severely. The same forces that can bring abundance can bring destruction to those who corrupt their intention. I've seen people try to use these methods against business competitors, against ex-spouses, against anyone they resented. Every single